Hi there, this is Karen with InspiredByGram.com. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm bringing you the Many Messages bundle from Stampin' Up. It is found in the mini catalog. So what it is, it's one huge stamp set with 20 different sentiments that you will stamp all at once and then die cut all at once. So I'm going to show you a couple ways how I stamp this using the Stamparatus and also the F block. Okay, so let me just set this aside and we'll just talk about the stamp set. So here it is. It's a huge stamp. It's all on one. Let me show you where it is in the catalog here. It is on page 35 of the Stampin' Up mini catalog from January to June of 2021. So it is right here, the bundle, and it's priced at $50.25. So this is a great purchase where you can benefit from the rewards of Celebration. Now, Celebration ends February 28th. And I am making this video on February 20th of 2021. So basically you have 8 days to take advantage of Celebration. And Celebration is a way you can earn free product, stamp sets or paper, by purchasing different levels of products. So $50 will get you a level 1, and it will, and that's worth some paper and some stamps. So let's get started, and I'm going to show you how I went ahead and figured this one out. So the Stamparatus is found on page 164. It's a stamp positioning tool, and it comes with 2 magnets to hold your paper in place, a foam mat to use with photopolymer stamps, rulers on 2 sides and 2 open ends, and which are reversible hinge plates, and a magnet storage area. The tool is it's 8 inches by 8 inches. The price on that is actually it's $49. And then since I have the catalog out, we're gonna turn the page, and I'm gonna stamp it after using the Stamparatus with the F block, okay? And that is 4 7/8 by 6 inches, and it prices at $17. So 2 different ways we're gonna stamp with that set today. So we're going to start with the Stamparatus, and then we'll move over to the F block. So here's the Stamparatus. What I like to do is I have my chamois in a case here. I like to put that case on the right side of the Stamparatus. That way the plate is kind of level, and then this one opens up. The next thing you're going to want to do is take your stamp. Mine is already mounted with the cling sticker. And this is what it looks like. The biggest tip that I can tell you is, let me just grab the die out of here. You've got to be careful cutting your paper and how you position the paper, either way, either with a Stamparatus or with the F block. Okay, so when you die cut it, if you can, I'm kind of doing this on the reverse side just so you can see the sentiments here a little bit better. But when you die cut this, it's going to go like this. And if you notice, this oval here, the thank you for being you, comes up higher than the hooray side, okay? So when you have your paper down, you're going to want to make sure that it is high enough so that you don't cut the tip off of that sentiment. And I'll try to show you what I mean by that. So here's our paper. This is basic white. Oh, and then I totally forgot to get my magnets off. So your magnets are stored on the back side. You got to be super careful with the Stamparatus magnets, okay? Because they are so incredibly strong that if you put them together, they could definitely break. So I added some duct tape here on this one. This one's got duct tape and washi tape here. But just make sure you keep them way apart from each other. Like I said, they can snap and break so easily. All right, so we've got it open. And I'm just going to center this paper here for a second. Let me get the stamp mounted here. So to do that, I'm just going to put this right down over the paper here. And then just get it on there. Okay, so that's good and solid on there. The next thing you want to make sure you do is position this paper so it's high enough for the thank you for being you. So what I mean about that is this die is going to cut this out, and you see how this comes over the top of the thank you. So you just need to make sure that your paper is extended well above that. So my piece of paper is cut 6.5 by 5.5. So you can get 2 sentiment panels out of one sheet of cardstock. So 23 sentiments times 2, that's a lot of sentiments, okay? So I'm just making sure that that is placed correctly. I'm going to add a magnet. See how strong that is? Like super strong, you guys. Okay, so there's going to be one there, and then I always put them opposite side, okay? See that magnet just moved my paper a little bit, so I just want to double check that that's going to stamp correctly, and it will. Okay, so that is it so far. Let me move this over into the screen a little bit more so I'm more on camera. I'm going to use pumpkin pie ink just because I don't have any sentiments stamped in orange yet. So I chose pumpkin pie. I'm just going to open this up, and I didn't even check to see if this was like super juicy or not, so we'll have to figure it out. So what I am doing is I'm just taking my ink pad to the stamp, and I'm going over it several times just to make sure that it's inked up well. All right, and then I'm going to just bring this over, and I'm just going to go up and down, and then I like to go sideways too, trying to give a lot of pressure to the stamp. And then I'm going to open it up. The paper did not move, and you can see that I really need to actually ink or add some refill to this ink pad, but that's okay. Using the Stamparatus, you can stamp this multiple times without ruining your first image. So we're just going to bring this over one more time. I'm going to press really hard and move my fingers up and down and sideways. And then we'll open it up, and that's looking better. So you can kind of see that the thank you ever so much is a little bit lighter than I would like. It's just because I did not remember to check my ink pad. But you can see though how easy this is to just add more ink and then just keep stamping. Okay, so if you do what I just did, and I'll check your ink levels, you'll be doing this a couple times, but that's okay because your paper's staying in place and it's looking great. So I think that's good enough. We're going to show you the F block next. So I'm going to take these magnets off and put them on the opposite side of my work surface. We'll take this and set it aside. Now what you want to do is you want to take that ink off. So what I do is before I remove it from the Stamparatus, I've got some baby wipes that I keep in my craft room, so I'll take one of those. You can use your chamois as well, but I like to use, on this stamp, I like to use the baby wipes just because I have a little bit more control, and if I had too much water in that chamois, well then it would get all over. So I like to use my baby wipe on this larger stamp. Okay, so that should be pretty good. All right, and now what, since we're going to be using this stamp right off, normally I would let it air dry, but for the sake of the video, I'm just going to take my chamois and just run it across so we can get some of that water up. Okay, so that's pretty good. It still had a little bit of ink on it, but that's okay. All right, so we're going to take this off. I'm going to flip it over because I don't want the sticky side on my work surface. I'm going to close this up. I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to add those magnets back to the storage place. Okay, so the one sticks there and one sticks over here, and you can see that they're far enough apart. So this is a great tool for you, and as you can see, it was a great tool for myself. So I'm going to just run over to my ink storage area, and I'm going to grab shaded spruce just so that I know I'm only going to get one chance to stamp this using the F block, and I want to make sure. I think that one's pretty good. So let me bring in the F block here. I've got it. I'm going to put it right down on my work surface, and I'm going to add the stamp. Now this stamp goes pretty close to the edge, so you want to get it centered as best as you can, and then I'm just going to press it down. Now I'm going to take my, for me, I need to stamp this horizontally because I have better control. So I'm going to have my paper here to the left side. Again, I'm using basic white, and I'm hoping that this is inked up really well. It looks like it is. So I'm just going to add my ink all the way around. I'm going to probably go around at least 3 times. It looks like it's just definitely super juicy. So I think we won't have any problem. All right, so I'm going to close this up. I'm going to grab this, and for me, like I said, I need to stamp it horizontally. This is a huge block. Again, I got to make sure I've got enough white up there to die cut that "Thank you for being you." So I'm just going to bring this down. Okay, so I've got it on my work surface. I'm just going to give it a good press. Okay, just like this. Okay, and then I'm going to lift it up, and we'll see what we get. All right, it looks awesome, you guys. My first try, and it looks pretty good. Now, if you had a little image that was not so stamped so great, what you could do is you could take a blender pen, like I'll just show you because these are all really stamped nicely. You could just take a blender pen and add some ink to the tip of it, and then just fill in here. I'm going to make this star a little bit darker. All right, so the blender pen will work as well. All right, so now we're going to die cut. So let me just close up this ink pad here. I got to clean out this tip because when you're using blender pens, the ink will stay in that tip until you get most of it out. So I'm just going to take that and clean it with that baby wipe there and put the cap on. I store these in my Stampin' Up! Storage, and you have to store them horizontally. If you store them up and down, well, then that ink is just going to dry, or that blender pen is going to just dry out. Okay, so now we need to die cut. So I'm using my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. It's a big one. We're going to open it up. And then we're going to, I use my magnetic plate from the Big Shop because we know that the magnetic plate, oh, look at this. I die cut one last night and it got stuck to the plate and didn't even notice it. Okay, so we know that the magnetic plate is off the market right now. So the Big Shot magnetic plate actually fits in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss. All right, so we've got 2 we can die cut out. We've got the pumpkin pie and we have the shaded spruce. I'm going to use the shaded spruce, and when you use your die cutting machines, those acrylic pads do kind of warp over time, so you'll need some washi tape. That is very handy. So let me just make sure I'm in the picture here because this is huge. I want to show you how I line this up. So my eyes are focusing on the heart and the stars. So my first object that I want to center in the die is the heart. I find that's easiest for me. It's the furthest from my eyes. So once I get that one lined up, I'm going to line up this one down here, and then usually the other 2 will fall in place, which it looks pretty good. So I'm just going to just move it ever so slightly, and being on a magnetic plate, it's a little bit harder because it's gripping to that, the die is gripping to the magnet. Okay, I think that's pretty good. So what you can also do is you can take some washi tape and I just put them a little piece there, and this is like really old, you guys, really, really old washi tape from Stampin' Up. Probably it's like literally, I don't know, maybe 6-7 years old when I was first came on board. Actually, it's going to be a lot older than that. Maybe like 8 or 9 years old, you guys. All right, so I'm going to just take a piece of washi tape. No, I don't really need to do this with a magnet, but I'm going to show you guys, if you don't have a magnetic plate, how you would keep that on there without moving. So just grab a piece of washi tape, painter's tape, that will work. And then I'm going to slide in my another acrylic plate. And I'm going to make sure that this is all the way in there, which it is, and I'm just going to crank it through. Now this is going to make a lot of noise because there's so many dies in here. Don't worry, that cracking noise is 100% normal. It just sounds really bad, you guys. Okay, so we're going to take this out. I'm going to fold this Stampin' Cut Emboss machine up, which I love because you can do that. And then I'm just going to put it right down on the floor here. I keep all of my sentiments in this little embroidery box that I've had like forever. When I first began cross-stitching many years ago. I don't do that anymore because my eyes are just so horrible. But you can see here, let me just try to put it this way. I've got all my sentiments in the boxes here, and they're just different colors. I did that one in Mossy Meadow. I've got some real red. I've got some early espresso ones in here. So this is like super handy. So if you just making some cards and you don't know what sentiment you want on it, you can save it for later and then just go to your little handy dandy box and pick one out for whatever occasion you need a card for. So now we're just gonna take this off. Some do stick in there, but they're so super easy. You just like tap them out and they just literally fall out. So this is still stuck on with that washi tape. So I'm just gonna pull it off. I'll stick it right back on the die there. And there's your little template. I'm actually going to show you, once we get these sorted, I'm going to show you what it looks like when you die cut designer series paper. Okay, so we're just going to keep this handy off to the side here. So here's the one that I said be careful that you make sure that your paper is up high enough so you can die cut it all around. So I do have one here, my very first try using the stamp set and the dies. I totally did not cut one out 100%. Here it is. So I did the early espresso, and you can see where I didn't have the paper up high enough, so it kind of cut it off like that. But this is what it should look like. You could still use this by tucking it in a piece of paper and just having this extended. So I'm going to keep that one. So again, I just kind of sort these out. I love this like little box here. All the long strip ones here just kind of go together. But I have enough sections in this box that is very useful. I really like this one here. Be strong, be brave, you've got this. I love that it has a little banner, and also on it has a little stitched rectangle as well. So super, super fun with that one. But I'm going to just actually pull these aside. I'll sort these a little bit later. Let me just put them in a pile because I wanted to show you, I don't want this video to be so long like you get bored, but I do want to show you that you can also cut designer series paper out. Now, this is going to be the first time I've tried it. I thought like this would be so super cool to be able to die cut your paper and use that as like kind of background images. So let me just quickly grab my cut and emboss machine, and we're going to do this together. Again, I've got my magnetic platform, I got my acrylic plate here, and I've got my paper. So this fits very tight. That's the only thing I can say, is it's really, really tight. Maybe I'm going to want to put this down here to do this. So it's going to go really close to the edge, okay, because of this one here. All right, so if you don't care about this one, then I wouldn't worry about it, but I think you might be able to sneak it on and not lose any. So like I said, this is the first time I've used this, so we're just going to give it a try together. This is a 6x6 paper, and it comes from Flower and what was that paper? I can't even remember off the top of my head right now. But anyway, any 6x6 paper will work nicely. And let me just grab my plate here on the top, and we're going to crank this through and see what we get. All right. It's not cracking as much with the designer series paper. Oh, there it goes once, but that's a little different. All right, so let me just grab this And I'll put it down on the floor for right now, and we're gonna see what we get. And my goodness, this wood grain paper just went everywhere for my work surface. All right, so we don't need this. We don't need this, but this is what we want. Okay, so this is super fun, you guys. So here's this. And it looks like it made it, like it's like thin, but I think we got it. So let's take a look at it. This is the one I was kind of concerned about. And let me bring in the white paper. And there you go. So you can fit this die on a 6x6 paper pack. So there we go. So just another way you can use this die other than stamping. You could stamp actually on this paper because it is light enough. The shaded spruce would go on that because it's a darker green. It doesn't poke out as nice, so I would just use my take your pick tool to punch that out, and look at what we've got. So there is a front and a back side with the dies because we've got the stitching around, but these will make really nice little backgrounds for you as well. So I've got, let's see, 2 cards I made the other night. I'm going to have these on a video a little bit later, but this is how I used the cards here, or the sentiments. I had this like, you know, just a simple card here, and then for the sentiment, this stamp set does not have any sentiments in it. I don't think it does. So we need one. So this is a great stamp set. This is a free stamp set, Corner Bouquet, that you can earn from Celebration. And this Many Messages bundle is again priced at $50.25. So you could earn this stamp set. And this is how I use this one. I did pick out one of the dies there and stamped images. So anyway, I just wanted to bring this all these little tools to you in a new stamp set and die bundle called Many Messages. So super fun, you guys. I hope you give it a try, and you can purchase this or any Stampin' Up! Supplies from me at inspiredbygraham.com, and you'll just hit the shop now button, and make sure you pay attention to my Stampin' Rewards, my perks with grams. That's great. I offer perks and free merchandise as well once you hit your level. So anyway, you can also message me at inspiredbygraham@gmail.com if you have any message or any questions at all. All right, I hope you have a great day and be well.